It's simple, really. Great stories with a good cup of tea. It's the Tea with Mike show. Tea with Mike fans, on this episode, Dustin Lee stopped by. We talked about how you used to record videos using a VCR. We also talked about perseverance and never giving up. And we also mixed in some Twitter psychology. And of course, because this is the Tea with Mike show, we had a crazy cool tea fact, and I enjoyed another cup of tea. So sit back, grab your own cup of tea, and enjoy. Alright guys, welcome to Tea with Mike. Joining me for this one is Dustin Lee. Welcome to Tea with Mike, Dustin.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So Dustin, when he sent me his bio, describes himself as a videographer, BMX rider, a Thai enthusiast, and a goofball. So let's see where today's episode goes. So again, welcome, Dustin. Do you want to start by telling everyone a little bit about you?
Sure. I guess most people know me now as the videographer for Gary V. I'm also, mainly right now, running the live streams for him. I've been doing that for about a year now, but like for Ask Gary V and his Gary V audio experience, that type of stuff. But now, since we're in quarantine, we had to move over to Tea with Gary V, and I'm pretty much running a whole TV show by myself every single morning.
So I don't think a lot of people realize like how much time and effort goes into setting stuff up behind the scenes. So in terms of hours, how many hours do you think you've spent on the technical portion and also research into figuring out how to do things?
Now it's way better since we've really nailed everything down. But for the first month, I was pretty much just trying to figure out any way possible, not the best way. And we were using Zoom with OBS and Restream, and it was just a lot of steps and friction, and I just didn't like how it was looking. And luckily, it's crazy just because my small amount of appearances at first, someone reached out to me and was like, hey, you should check out StreamYard, it's just way better. And I was a little skeptical, honestly I was a little skeptical at first because I was like, whatever. But then I was like, all right, let me give it a try, after he really kept hounding on me for it. And then I'm so glad he did. His name's Ben Barber. Shout out to Ben Barber. He was like, yeah, you should really use this. And I was like, all right. I looked at it. I wasn't really into it at first, but then I didn't realize how powerful it was. And it's just, so we just use StreamYard. It's way better. As far as how long it takes every day, it only takes maybe a half hour to set up. But that's just my end. There is, I have Zane helping me with doing the coordinating with guests that come on, because that would just be too much for me to handle all by myself.
Yeah, for sure. Keeping track of who's in the queue and then who can't do it and who needs to go on a different day.
Yeah. Well, the thing with StreamYard is we could only have about 10 people waiting in the queue. That's a maximum amount that allows. But also, I just don't even want 20 people in there because it would just be too hard for me to keep track of who's going on. So I work with Zane where he's inviting people one by one, and then that way I have them come in one by one, and it's just a little bit less pressure for me to have to, because I'm watching everything. I'm making sure Gary's good, I'm making sure the guest is good, I'm making sure comments are coming in, making sure the LinkedIn is working. There's just a lot going on.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on because as we all know, Gary can be, it's Gary, isn't he? So sometimes a spur of a moment, but it's a neat show. But anyway, so I want to know, what do you love about BMX riding? Is it something that you've always done? I just watched a video the other day.
Oh, thanks. So for a little context, I'm 35 years old right now. I've been riding BMX, which is pretty much it's like skateboarding except on a bicycle. But I've been doing it since I was 13. So a long time. It's just something I've always been into. Uh, I've been doing it like on and off my entire life. Just
Is it
things in life comes up and stuff like that.
awesome? Is it so? Is it something that you like always used to do with your friends? Went back when you were in school in like the summer holidays and stuff like that?
No, it's like I did it throughout high school or elementary school, middle school, high school. Then, like things happened when I was trying to be more into soccer, and then so I like didn't
I
really
love
focus.
football.
Oh yeah, football. Or
Who's your favorite football team?
well, I'm not super into like football right now. So like at the time, it was I mean I only paid attention to like the U.S. teams really, like
Okay.
barely, but yeah, like I wasn't very good at it. So then yeah, like I gave that up. But yeah, just BMX has been like pretty much a part of my like 70% of my life, like the entire time from the day I started to now.
What's your favorite thing about it? Is it a switch off from everything else you got going on in your life, or
Sort of like, I mean, it's like I like it because it is exhilarating. Like there's an adrenaline rush to it. Like there's also just a lot, like it seems like it's kind of like some kind of like daredevil type of thing, but there is also a lot of like mental challenge behind it that I think I never really like realized before. But yeah, like because we're doing tricks and tricks aren't easy,
no,
and
it's scary.
it takes yeah, like it takes a lot of like determination and just like the consistency to like keep trying on something even though like it's hard, it's tough, or like it's just a mental battle. And I never really thought about it before, but like it really is like we have a saying in the BMX world, like it's all in your head. Like whenever we're trying to do a trick, like and it's just not happening, it's like it's all in your head, dude. Just fucking do it. And it's like, all right, fine. And then it just happens. Like it's like, damn, you're right. It was just all in my head. Like there's like it's just funny how like something like riding a bicycle is just a lot of it has to do with like mental strength.
Yes, I remember a long time ago when I was learning how to ride a bike. Near where I lived, there was like this little dip, and for the longest time when I had my like stabilizers on, I was really scared like to go down the dip. And it was barely a dip because I thought maybe I'd like disappear, fall off my bicycle, and then as you get older and become like better at riding a bike and most things in life, that
Mm-hmm.
little dip is like nothing. You're over it at like 0.1 of a second, right? So
Yeah.
I can relate in that sense
Mm-hmm.
to the mental games when
Yeah.
biking. So cool. So obviously we know you do some BMX riding, and then how did you kind of develop your love for videography?
It is ironically through BMX riding. When I was around 14, I started editing like little videos, like homemade videos of us biking, like doing tricks and stuff, and it was like super ghetto. Like we would use a camcorder, and then we would use the double.
Cool.
We had like the way we used to edit was using two VCRs, like put them on top of each other. The video would feed into one VCR, and then you would have to cut it, press stop, play, and then it would record onto the next VCR. It was super scrappy, but it was, like I just loved doing it. Like I always loved making like edits and stuff like that. And then that was just never like a passion though. Like when I was that young, I pretty much like just like BMX, like it was like an on and off thing where throughout my 20s I was like just experimenting with a little like with like Windows Movie Maker or something simple
yes.
like that. And then when I really got into it was around 2016. I quit my job because I listened to Gary on the radio, and I was like, all right, I'm going to try to pursue this YouTube thing.
Yes.
It didn't really happen, but like I realized within myself, like I don't like as much being in front of the camera, like the whole vlogging thing, but I enjoyed the editing aspect of it like a
Okay, so
lot.
the technical portion. Okay.
Yeah, like when I was editing my videos for YouTube, like just sitting there for hours and like not feeling like bored or like anxious about it. I was just like having fun doing it, and it was just me just like really focusing, getting into it. And I was like, damn, like I really like this. I like realized I really like this. And then from that point on, I was just like, I'm just gonna keep doing this. And then it somehow led to Gary.
Yeah, so cool. So we've now obviously established the you like editing and video and the kind of the technical side of the video and creating. So is that something? So you kind of explained, but is it just something that kind of naturally happened? Because when you were BMX riding, you were more interested in the environment and the bike versus kind of how Gary and lots of other people do it, where it's them in front of the camera.
I think it's also just from watching videos a lot, like thinking like, how was this made? Like I would just notice little things when I'm watching other people's videos, like how do they edit that? Like I was just like thinking like, and it just makes me like wonder and ponder. And I was like, huh. So then like when you're actually sitting behind the computer and you're trying to figure out how to do it, I would just and by the way, I like learned everything through YouTube pretty much. I didn't go to school for it or anything like that, but yeah, like you just see the videos and you're like, oh, how do they do that? So then I'm like, I Google like, oh, how do you green screen someone out or something like that? And it's just like, whoa, it's on YouTube. Cool. So then good instructions. And I'm like, all right, let me try this. And I was like, holy shit, I did it.
That's good. So all the trial and error research using the internet and Google to help like improve your skills and make more and take something from like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to edit videos and stuff to actually like a reality?
Yeah, like it was way harder when I was growing up because software was expensive. There was pretty much no internet, and like it's just such a different world where it's like you have access to so much information now.
Cool. And then so I'm curious to know what were your favorite subjects in school? Really unrelated to what you're doing now. Okay, I think I've got an idea, but I'll let you tell me.
I really didn't like school a lot, but I was always good at math, which is so weird. Like in high school, but then after I graduated high school, I was like, I don't want to do anything with math, and so then I took one pre-calculus, even though like that wasn't even like I already took pre-calc in 10th grade, but like they put me in that class in college, and I was like, this is easy. Like I don't even want to do this. But then after that, I just wasn't into it, so then I never took a math class ever again, and now I'm terrible at math, ironically.
So you only went to college for one course, and then you decided it wasn't for you?
Well, I went to college with no major. My second year in school, I decided to be a criminal justice major, thinking like my plan was to be a police officer.
Nice.
Then I realized after I graduated, like I really didn't want to do that. I just like didn't respect at the time, like now I do, but at the time I just didn't respect law enforcement. I was like, I wasn't happy with like how they were doing things. I just didn't want to be part of it. That wasn't that's pretty negative approach instead of just thinking maybe I could fix it. But yeah, at the time I just wasn't into it. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And then I just ended up going into like, I was working for a book printing company at the time.
Oh, neat.
Part-time. Well, they're more like a brokerage company. But it was like business, basically. It was just like the middleman type of thing. And I learned about business through that, like at least like somewhat. And I was working there for about like 7 years. Just thought it was time to like try something else. Went into IT, hated it because I didn't know anything about it. I just kind of like was manipulated to like think it was gonna be so easy, but it wasn't. And then that's when I quit my job, tried the YouTube thing,
nice.
And then applied for VaynerMedia, got rejected twice, and then just got a call. I got really lucky, got a call back from Andy, And he's like, hey, you still interested? I'm like, yes. And he's like, can you start tomorrow? I'm like, okay. And then that's just went from there.
Neat man. So a striking theme through I believe through your journey so far, because you didn't really have a formal plan, just kind of figuring it out, like almost on like gut instinct, would you say, a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And intuition. So how important is consistency, never giving up, and keep and then also pursuing that dream if in the face of rejection, as you've experienced on multiple occasions?
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not the most like mentally strong person. I'm really not. Like, I wouldn't say like, oh, I was like, I'm not gonna give up. Like, I wasn't always like that. There was a lot of times where I was like, fuck, man, maybe I should give up on this. Like I just was like about to like be like, no, this isn't happening. This isn't working. Like, I don't know what to do. And like, there was a lot of times like that. And I'm so glad that I didn't give up. But like, I completely understand how people feel when they want to give up. Like, because like, and especially because I'm terrible with patience, like really bad with it. Like, I want everything now. And I totally feel that for everyone. Like, but it's just one of those things, like, you just gotta really have a lot of faith and like try. Like, you just gotta keep going. Like, it's hard. Like, I understand. It's hard to say that to yourself, and you're like, when you really are self-doubting yourself and stuff like that. And yeah, like, I mean, I don't want to like give advice of being like, yeah, just hang in there, because it's like, it's hard. Like, I wasn't always perfect at that. And like, I want everyone to hang in there and keep going and try and just ignore everything. But it is hard.
And do you have anything like a specific thing that kept you going and through the struggles and the harder times?
I mean, I think the struggle was really the reason, like, because it's like, all right, I feel like I've hit rock bottom here, and it's like, what else am I gonna do? I guess, I mean, I have no choice. Like, I have to keep going. That's I guess is the one thing that was. I mean, it was hard, man. My ex-girlfriend at the time, she like wasn't supportive at all. My parents weren't supportive. My family wasn't. Like, pretty much no one supported me except my current girlfriend, and that she has a lot to do with like how I just like persevered, because she really did believe in me. And I was like, what? I thought she was crazy. I'm like, like, you know, what the hell you believe in? Like, I'm not here. Like, I still had a lot of self-doubt, and she was the only one that really believed in me.
Also, man, and then, so answer in as much detail as you feel comfortable, but how now, with the progress that you've made from the rejection and trying to like figure out what you kind of wanted to do in life, how has even though it ultimately, as Gary talks about, doesn't matter, how has people's perspective and opinion of you changed?
A lot. Like, I've definitely come to the point where I realize also my ambition isn't like super, super high. Like, I'm very happy where I am, and I'm not like trying to pursue being like Steven Spielberg or anything like that. Like, that's just not my ambition, and I'm comfortable with that. Like, I'm just not thinking like this. Like, I don't think Gary's a stepping stone. I'm staying, like, I've told myself I'm staying with Gary for the rest of my life. Like, I think he really is going to buy the Jets, and I want to be there, like, by his side, and then be like, yes, we fucking did it. Like, I want to be there. Like, I think he's really going to change the world, and just being like in his shadow, I am so happy with that. Like, I want him to change the world. I want to be part of that too. Sorry, I forgot your original question. I kind of blabbed.
Oh, it was kind of, you kind of answered it, but how has people's like perspective?
Oh, right. Yeah, like,
progress on your goals and
yeah,
time.
gotcha. Yeah, like, people, when I was doing the YouTube thing, people make fun of me, like, oh, you're gonna vlog today, man. And it's like, and it gets annoying. Like I get it, and it's just like those, like they are my good friends, but it's like, in the one hand, I get pissed because I'm like, fuck you, but on the other hand, like it's what Gary says, like you gotta have empathy, and like there's a reason why they're doing that. There is a reason why they're not being supportive. Like it's because they're probably just either not happy with themselves or like just jealous subconsciously, like that the fact that they're not trying. And that's, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything. It's just there's a lot more psychology, I think, behind a lot of things than we realize. But yeah, like after I got through all that, and now that I'm with Gary, and I think I've definitely built more character as myself. My closest friends are like have like texted me randomly, just saying like, "Hey, I'm so proud of you," and like thanks, man. Like it really, that means a lot to me. Like because it was a struggle. Like I just felt like an idiot because I was just trying to do this thing that from scratch with, like I didn't even know what the hell I was doing, and like thinking I'll be the next Casey Neistat or something like that. But yeah, like, and I'm just, a lot of like self-awareness has happened within the past 4 years where yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm just not super ambitious. I'm content with where I am, and I'm just gonna go from here. Like I'm not gonna have a plan anymore. Like Gary says, just go with the flow kind of thing.
Go with the kind of flow, because you kind of alluded to it. You at least for now, and who knows what the future holds. You
Right.
You basically I think you're telling me that you found your like sweet spot, happy spot, which is ultimately, without sounding too much like Gary, it's like we have one life and let's live it to the goals and the purpose and ultimately what makes us happy. So it sounds like you're in a really good spot.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of, it really is just like living every day by day, you know, like because anything can happen. I mean, we're in this coronavirus thing now, and it's like it just screwed up everything, and it's like I'm just gonna adjust to whatever I'm living every day. So that's just how I live now. And if like Gary fired me tomorrow for some reason, then it's like, all right, I just gotta figure it out. Like anything can happen, you know. So
that's true. It's the world we live in. So yeah, that's true. So moving away from the Gary train a little bit, what is something that not many people know about you?
I think I don't know. I think people don't realize how goofy I really am. Like because like I am when I'm on Tea with Gary V, like those little moments, like I'm not in the right like comedic mindset because I'm trying to make sure this
goes well.
Yeah. I'm very focused. I'm like in very serious mode. And
well, I think people can tell that because like even when he says your name sometimes, and even when he asks you questions on like something that maybe just happened in the episode, I do really like, it's almost its own little thing. You're in your own cloud space and you're like, what? But
yeah.
The important thing is you don't like BS. You're like, you were honest.
Yeah.
Boss, you're like, well, I wasn't listening because I'm doing this, and this. So I think that's really neat.
Instead
of you coming up with a fake answer.
Right. Like that's something I've been trying not to do as much anymore. Like, you know how when you just kind of go like, yeah, to like someone when you're not even really listening. Like I'm trying not to do that anymore. Especially like if someone says something and I really don't understand what they're saying, I'm just like, sorry, dude, I don't know what you just said. Like, can you explain that better? Like, just because it's not really them. It's more just me, like a lot going in my head, and I'm just trying to like comprehend everything. And sometimes it's just difficult for me because I'm not the smartest person.
You don't need to be. At the end of the day, you just need to basically know enough to. It's the Tea with Mike show.